few minutes, I'd like to share with you about a tool that I think can really help amplify your digital data visualizations. So look at this with me. I'm first going to talk about my rationale because I think it's important that your data visualizations can amp up. Quote, "In God we trust, all others must bring data." Number one, the impact. The data visualizations that you have and seen, they make an impact to you. It's not just the numbers. It's the aesthetic. Data is just a clue to the end truth. Once you have an understanding of the power and influence you can see with data visualizations, I think it's important to consider the purpose, and I think that is to unify, to do something good, and that is to help get people together. Really, it is the purpose of data to bring your team and your community to a beneficial action. What's good for the individuals, what's good for everybody. And as a leader, you need to take the opportunities that you can to communicate why and the how. For example, think about today in our reality, data visualizations. It means that we're dealing with massive challenges like the COVID-19 pandemic and all that entails, including our current, what we're facing this very day is the pending return to school. It's already in place in many of our schools in our state. I was going to give this example that back in February, we did a survey, and I guided the survey towards a few questions about what the students were feeling about being in distance learning. And this is a word cloud that described that. It seemed to have an impact as we presented that, and the principal presented that to the staff. And you could drill down into that a little further into the Google slide to show the my instinct at the time, before I started looking at more into data visualizations, was to present the results in a way that would be clearly understood what the students were saying. And you can tell from this graph that the largest group is that they're happy. But if you consolidate the lower half, that is not feeling good, or somewhere in between, is 50, 40, and then there's a whole nother group here. That's a lot of students out of the 370 or 64 who are not happy. And then the biggest challenges, missing friends is a huge one. And also technical problems. They're struggling with all the challenges of the devices and the internet. What motivates you to learn the most? Purely the yellow there is grades. Then we had some free response items. So you can compare that also to the return to school data and the reasons behind it. And this, I pulled this graph from an example of what they're calling the COVID slide. So if you see these different lines in this graph, this study compared standard school year cohorts with cohorts that had been on stay at home and distance learning, and the ones that are lower, that are going down there, are showing that decline. It's very similar to the slide they see in the summer. And that can, an image like this can really help motivate people to get the kids back to school. So I think a place to start is Google Data Studio. I would encourage you to check it out. and we'll be doing the same.